the former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, former top national security advisor, highly respected for your analysis over the decades. That's why you got promoted so high. You're predicting a new mega 9/11 potentially in the next 90 days.
Yeah, it's never the last thing that happened, okay? It's not like we're going to be needing to watch for planes in the sky. It is a combination of things because they have found a massive number of vulnerabilities in the sort of the body of America. And those vulnerabilities are, in some cases, our inability to respond to chaos and complex operations. And if they're trained in complex operations, which they are, small teams, small elements, dispersed, in a wide pattern all over the United States of America, which we know. You mentioned one of the criminal elements earlier, but you have the TDA, you've got the MS-13, you've got elements of Islam, radical Islam in here, like Hamas and Hezbollah. I mean, these are this axis of resistance that's already inside of our country. I mean, this is not me making this shit up, Alex. All the stuff, get the government going, the economy, all these different, all the noise that's out there, it's all utterly meaningless if we don't reestablish trust, we don't fix our elections, and we don't get to the bottom of the deep state and start indicting people and arresting people. I mean, these indictments on Brennan or subpoenas for Brennan and Strzok and Page, that's noise. And when is that going to happen? Is that going to happen today? Is that going to happen tomorrow? Is it going to happen next week? I mean, every single day that goes by, we are losing momentum. This administration will lose momentum. And let me tell you, the planning going on the other side, on this Marxist movement to take over the United States of America, which I'm not screwing around when I say that. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not me bullshitting. This is not me being hyperbolic. This is what we see happening.
Well, the Democrats are officially saying Mamdani is the new model, a communist.
Guarantee Mamdani will do all kinds of crazy things in New York City. You're going to start hearing Mamdani, if you haven't already. He's going to be touted to run for president in 2028. I mean, these people are serious because that's the direction that they want to take this country. And they've been doing it since Barack Obama took the presidency in 2008. So this fight, this battle, this coup d'etat, this ongoing conspiracy to take over this country has not ended.
The government fears Alex Jones, who has the largest audience in the country, bigger than any of the networks, the biggest megaphone in the country.
The deep state hates Alex Jones with a vengeance.
Alex Jones is the most extraordinary person I've ever met.
Whatever the future may hold, InfoWars will always live forever. The fight will continue. Be sure to follow us on X at RealAlexJones and at AJN Live. And now you can download the #1 news app in the world. Go to AlexJonesApp.com and let the Democrat Deep State Party know that we will never be silenced.
All right, it is 11:33 Central Standard Time, AM. I am your host, Alex Jones, coming to you from Austin, Texas, from the embattled historic studios of InfoWars. Things have really come to a head, and I'd ask General Flynn, the former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, former top national security advisor to President Trump, and target #1 when Trump first came in with the first administration in 2017 to be destroyed by the deep state. Now Comey has been indicted for his related crimes to that. And up front, to give a 35,000-foot view, I don't want to write ourselves into it, but we are in the center of it, Flynn particularly. It's Trump, Flynn, and then myself literally mentioned the most, along with his family, in Arctic frost for destruction. Total civil rights violation, total conspiracy against rights. And the overhang of that is still attacking me. And we have Todd Blanche, Deputy AG, killing the investigations into me, though they're still ongoing by others. I'll leave it at that. So to understand how real this is, Flynn literally has the tire tracks of this over him. All right? And I got the scars as well. So we're not victims. We're explaining how real the war is. You don't have two people here telling you about this from the outside, but particularly Flynn from the crow's nest. All right? And so I'm not black-pilled that, oh, we're all doomed. I'm not white-pilled, everything's fine. No, I'm action-pilled. Yes, compared to the first administration, we're moving very fast, but it's not fast enough. As I've seen General Flynn recently say, we're simpatico on that. And if they get back in, even in the midterms, but especially in 3 years, Katie barred the door. And they've said that. They're coming after everybody. And they got Jack Smith's emails. Before this even broke, I was told about it, and told you, that they had a battle plan to put tens of thousands of us in prison. Giant show trials. Up to 1,000 people tried it once. Okay? They were going to turn this place into a high-tech version of North Korea. So I want to get the big view from Flynn, and then what we need to do as the American people to back what Trump's doing, and just the larger analysis, because that's what he used to do, was brief the president on global and then into specific issues. And then obviously it's fortuitous he's on today. I'm trying to get him on for weeks. You've got the disgraced insider who we now know targeted Flynn with Comey, Mike Pence, saying he's thinking about running in 2028. And General Flynn, who everybody tried to get to run, said, no, I'm going to back Trump. We weren't even sure Trump was going to run when we were doing that. But he just said, if Pence is running, he's running. So things are escalating very quickly. We also have looming indictments of Jack Smith, Adam Schiff, and a lot of others, which is great, but it also makes the deep state that much more dangerous. We have the Latin Kings, one of the most serious, real Mexican mafias, been around 70, 80 years, saying shoot to kill ICE agents on site. They were shot at this weekend. So we're moving really into a very dangerous phase. General, that's my long preface. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Alex, and to your great audience and everybody else that listens, because these kinds of broadcasts get global views. So and the main target for me being here today with you, Alex, is inside of the Oval Office, particularly President Donald J. Trump, because I can see it in his commentary and the kinds of things that he's doing, and when he is asked about certain aspects of all of this stuff that you just kind of laid out, you can sense his frustration. Frankly, not from the questions or from the questioner, but in his own team for not moving fast enough. Now, I saw a great friend of mine on another show here today, and gave an interview and said, he wanted to let the American people know that we're moving fast. Nobody's going to be happy with the speed, but they're moving at the pace that they move at inside of the government. Okay, what does that mean? Well, first of all, to take it to the 60,000 foot level, we are still in the midst of a coup, of a takeover, of an undermining of the United States of America, and it began well before Trump even decided. I mean, there was a decision made that when Barack Obama ran, why did Barack Obama run in 2008 instead of Hillary Clinton? There was a decision made a long time ago that we were going to have 8 years of Barack Obama, and then we're going to have 8 years of Hillary Clinton. And Alex, you and I wouldn't be around. So, and many, many others. So it didn't happen that way because a guy by the name of Donald J. Trump came down a golden escalator, and ran for president and won. And I was right at the center of that victory. And I like to believe that I had a lot to do with him winning in 2016, because I was out there at the pointy end of the spear with him, touting what dangers we face with people like Hillary Clinton if she were to win. So all that said, in 2016 and in 2017, and we're starting to see some subpoenas coming out now. We have the one indictment of Comey, which is insufficient for everything going on. But it all began really in earnest there. Once Trump won, it was like, you just used the phrase Katie barred the door. It was, we cannot allow Trump to have any capability to be able to lead this country as the duly elected president. We are going to undermine him at every single element that they can possibly do that. And they did. For his first 4 years, despite some of the great things that he did then, he was so undermined. And frankly, people like me were just taken out at the knees. And like you say, you appropriately said, I got the racetracks. They ran right over my body, right, thinking that I was dead, but they didn't kill me. That initial stage of a coup, of an undermining of a duly elected president, of basically destroying the fabric of what the American people actually voted for, has not ended. And these people are not about to go away. As you rightly said, and as many of us know, they're already contemplating coming back into power, in 2026. The results of this past Tuesday's election still need to be analyzed. And you know, a group of people that I work with and our team, we are doing a deep analysis on that to say, what were some of the issues? Was it the economy? You know, is it crime, or is it just an apathy in the GOP, in the Republican? You know,
I think there was a mix of that. I think apathy, but also massive evidence of fraud in all of the elections.
Okay, so let's say we still have massive evidence of fraud. So what are we doing about it, right? I mean, this administration must deal with really a couple of things. Number one is reestablishing trust between the government and the American people. It is not done. So President Trump, that reestablishing of trust between the institutions of government and the American people is not there yet. Now, I know he does his part, and others sometimes do their part, but it's not there yet. People just don't trust our institutions yet. So don't lose sight of that. Number two, if he does not take and fix our election system, if he does not correct the problems of our election system, we're not going to have, you know, another result like Tuesday. We're going to have a worse result, and that's in less than 2 years now, in 2026, and we're going to see things be much worse, and they're going to move at a momentum that the left will move at, because they've always demonstrated their ability to, like you say, Katie barred the door. They will slash and burn their way, and just like they did after the very fake Fedsurrection on January 6th, where we saw however many 1,400 people thrown into prison for a setup. What we now know is a setup of January 6th.
That was my next question. We now know the DOJ, and I'm going to leave it at that, because I'm still processing it, what I learned last night and this morning.
No, I'm not processing it because I'm done processing it. I'm done with we got this bomber and that shooter, and we had Ashley Babbitt murdered, and we don't even know what's happening with this. I mean, this was a complete setup, because they did not want, they knew that they stole the 2020 election. Believe me, what's going to come out, and mark my words, mark the date on this interview, there is going to come out a conspiracy, and it happened while Trump was in office, and it happened well before the 2020 election. So mark it on your calendar, Alex, and mark the date of this show, because I guarantee there will be evidence that will come out, and that evidence is going to be absolutely outrageous. It is worse than Russiagate, and so I'm going to back up a little bit.
Well, let me stop and clarify.
I don't want to get hyperbolic.
No, sir, please. I want to be very clear what I was going to say. I'm still processing what I learned at 7 a.m. this morning on that piece, but I can tell you that I'm on the phone with a lot of journalists and a lot of DOJ last night and this morning that called me and told me so much, my head's spinning. The part I'm still processing is what needs to be done about Kash Patel. I don't know if he's bad. I don't know if he's in over his head, any of that. All I know is they are 100%. They use the same software that they allowed the investigators to use to find the reported pipe bomber. We've known it was Capitol Police the whole time, now with CIA. And 100% the DOJ is coming down with both feet through the FBI, trying to shut down the pipe bomber identity coming out. So what I was saying, yes, we know it's a total conspiracy. The whole thing engineered by the Democrats. That's been proven. I was there. That's known. What I'm processing is, why in the hell is the DOJ and FBI literally going crazy trying to shut this down right now?
Yeah. So you have about 40,000 people in the FBI, about 40,000. That's a large organization. I had, in DIA, we had somewhere between 20 and 30, right? So you have to have experience running large organizations. So, that's not a lick on Kash or a lick on Dan Bongino or the other leaders there. But and they've only been in charge for a little while, and they weren't leading large organizations up to that point, like a guy like I was, where I was leading battalions.
Well, let me just say it. Why the hell didn't, I know Trump said he asked you a bunch. You've been working hard behind the scenes and publicly, but why didn't you get brought in, or people you recommended?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of establishment, uniparty, if you will, but certainly GOP establishment that blocks people who they do not control, they do not own. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Kash Patel or Dan or any of the others are. They're good people. They're hardworking guys. They took, I give them.
Yeah, that's what I'm processing. But regardless, right, whoever's in there with the 40,000 is shutting this down right now.
Yeah, because you cannot you have to deal with reform immediately. You cannot just go in and go, okay, over the next 10 years, I'm going to reform this organization. Same with DOJ. DOJ as in totality has, tens of thousands more than the FBI has. The FBI is a part of the DOJ. So these are large organizations, and the level of trust inside, I can tell you, the level of trust inside is not there. They don't trust most people outside of their doors, outside of their office doors, which is a tragedy. So there's going to have to be a come to Jesus moment, and Trump's going to have to do this. All the stuff, get the government going, the economy, all these different, all the noise that's out there, it's all utterly meaningless if we don't reestablish trust, we don't fix our elections, and we don't get to the bottom of the deep state and start indicting people and arresting people. I mean, these indictments on Brennan or subpoenas for Brennan and Strzok and Page, that's noise. And when is that going to happen? Is that going to happen today? Is that going to happen tomorrow? Is it going to happen next week? I mean, every single day that goes by, we are losing momentum. This administration will lose momentum. And let me tell you, the planning going on the other side, on this Marxist movement to take over the United States of America, which I'm not screwing around when I say that. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not me bullshitting. This is not me being hyperbolic. This is what we see happening.
Well, the Democrats are officially saying Mamdani is the new model, a communist.
Guarantee Mamdani will do all kinds of crazy things in New York City. You're going to start hearing Mamdani, if you haven't already. He's going to be touted to run for president in 2028. I mean, these people are serious because that's the direction that they want to take this country. And they've been doing it since Barack Obama took the presidency in 2008. So this fight, this battle, this coup d'etat, this ongoing conspiracy to take over this country has not ended. And we have got to stop kidding ourselves. There's no more Republicans and Democrats, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. These people are your enemy. And I hate to say it like that. I hate the fact that we are in a place right now that actually breaks my heart, because as a guy who served our country and who was willing to die for this country, and I witnessed many others who did. When I look at things like that, I say, geez, this breaks my heart that our country has gotten to this point. But it has, because we have been complacent as a people. We have gotten apathetic as a government. And frankly, we have people inside of our government, to include those in the Republican establishment, who have corrupted our system and our way of life. I
totally agree. But let me just back up what you're saying. I want to ask some other key questions in the time we have left, which is really important. For people that don't know, I know most of you do, the Great Reset's a global plan by BlackRock and the big banks to end capitalism, to collapse everything. Then they administer a kind of high-tech communism that they're exempt from. They planned that, as you said earlier, with Obama and then in Hillary to bring us into all of that. So we frustrated that, blocked it, but they're still going for it. That's why they want to kill the recovery. That's why they did the shutdown. That's why they're trying to sabotage and crash the stock market, because Trump wants people to believe the American dream, fix it, raise our morale, turn it around. Their whole plan is fully committed. So now they're trying to race, because they're behind, to the crash. And we have to get that message out to people that they deliberately know that Mamdani and others are financial, political suicide bombers to blow up our major cities financially to bring the country down. That's it. They are torpedoes fired at the ship of America consciously. This is total war.
Yeah. So in 2022, early 2022, I was in the briefing for a very, very prominent person, where we showed how much money the George Soros Foundation paid for the 2020 elections, okay? And it was over $2 billion, and it was money that was laundered and washed through different structures and organizations. And I mentioned George Soros because he's online every day. Every single day, somebody's talking about George Soros doing this, or now it's Alex Soros, who's partnered with Mamdani. I mean, we've got to stop kidding ourselves about the money that's coming into this country and going into the political pockets on both sides of the establishment. So this is not just a hit on the Democrats.
And Obama's been bragging that they're using NGO money, foreign money, to fight Trump now, which is treason again. Total election interference.
Why was Doge shut down? Why was it shut down? Why wasn't Elon? I mean, look at the things that Doge was exposing, and yet I mean, where's Elon? Did Elon get tired of exposing the truth? I don't think so.
No, they ran him out. Well, we know. He
They
got too
ran
close.
him out. Exactly.
And Susie Walls kicked him out. Trump's getting close to bringing him back. So you're saying he should be drafted back?
Yeah. I do. And you know what? And just to sit here, because I know, a lot of people watch your show, and especially people in the White House and people in the administration. I'm all for Donald Trump. I mean, Jesus, I've been probably his best advocate. I've been his best champion. There is no one that has taken a beating other than him like me. None. Even to include today, where I had shitty things being said about me on the internet that are total lies.
And you could have turned on him in a minute, and they'd have dropped all their fake stuff, but you didn't.
Easily. But this is bigger. This is bigger than Donald Trump. This is bigger than where we are right now. This is about the future of the United States of America and whether or not we are going to have a legitimate constitutional republic in the years ahead. Well past Donald Trump, right? I mean, whoever ends up being in 2028 or 2032 or beyond, whether or not we get another 50 years out of our republic, never mind another 250 years. So this is bigger, and the United States of America and the people in our country, particularly those duly elected leaders. I mean, I just had two more people get a hold of me today that are running against these rhino establishment people in different states, one for Congress, one for Senate. And they're in both cases, they're veterans, which I love the fact that we have veterans starting to stand up to get back involved in service to the country in a political way. But we have got to figure this out, and we have got to break through this mess that we are in. And like I said, every single day that goes by that people in Trump's administration aren't doing something, doing something to get at those things, trust, the elections, and basically tear apart the deep state. And that includes, it's not just the FBI and some reform that needs to be in the FBI. It's it's all across the intelligence community, National Security Agency, Defense Intelligence Agency, National Geospatial Agency, FBI, the CIA. Oh my God, the CIA. You tell me, see if John Radcliffe will come on your show and talk about the reforms that they've taken inside of the CIA. It's zip, none. So what I'm telling you is that we have people in our government that are there because Donald Trump put them there. So I'll stick that finger in his chest on that one, because he's the one that chose them at the end of the day. Maybe some of these people were brought to him, but these are critical positions. And if they're not doing what his intent is, then they're not doing the intent of the American people. And the intent of the American people is to basically get us back on in a path where we don't have to worry about this deep state anymore. We don't have, there's always going to be corruption, but we're talking about subversion and espionage directed against the United States of America from organizations like the FBI, like the CIA, like the DIA, like the NSA, like the Department of Justice, like the Department of State. All of these different organizations. And I will also add inside of the Oval Office. So send that little last 30-second clip to the White House, because I guarantee, Mr. President, this is the kind of stuff that is happening. And I implore you, Christ, we have, over the last couple of years, just in the little world that I'm in, we have like 8 federal cases in federal court right now that all of them would take down people like Jack Smith, take down people like John Brennan, take down people like organizations like the USAID, even more than they've already been taken down. Take down, in fact, expose the billions and billions and billions of dollars that have been sent over to Ukraine and then laundered right back to the United States of America.
Bottom line, we should be seeing thousands of indictments, not 3. And yeah, that's better than 8 years ago. This is and like you said at the start of the interview, you see Trump will be in a press conference. He'll go, does the media want to ask about the corruption and the deep state and all and nobody does, because they're all scared to be put on a list, because as soon as you start targeting it, just as soon as we start talking about the pipe bomber being Capitol Police and CIA, now all of a sudden I'm getting all these calls and all these things and all these threats, and and if it happened to me, which doesn't work, it's going on everywhere. When you're over the target when that's happening. So obviously we just have to understand that the globalists, the communists haven't given up. What else do you think they're going to try in the short term? They're clearly trying to crash the stock market. What else are the bad guys up to that we should be looking for?
Yeah, I would say that we should be very, very seriously concerned about a large-scale attack here in the United States.
General, that's so key. Your Zoom only cut out for that. Start over. I'll ask it again. So sorry, your Zoom completely cut out there. Please start over with your answer about what you're concerned about.
Mornings, and I listen to enough people, and I watch the tea leaves. Yeah, so I think that's number one.
General, you got to start over. Stop, General.
I'm speaking with.
General, your Zoom completely cut out for the last 30 seconds. Let's just wait till it stabilizes. Yeah, he's frozen. We got to reconnect. This is too important. You got to get into Pence running. You got to hold 5 minutes the next. Okay, oh, wait, it's back. Okay, yes, the question, and then it cut out. What are the big
how's that? How's that? I will. How's that?
You're back, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So briefly, yeah. Yeah, the big threats. Number one, I really do feel like we are facing a potential, something that makes 9/11 look like a small church fire. And I hope that I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong. But the indications and warnings across the board, and that's just solely from my own, experiences and research of open source information. So never mind other things that I'm sure that they're getting inside of the National Security Agency, the FBI, the CIA. What I worry about, and that account, if an attack does occur, what I worry about is that the president is not being briefed by those organizations fully. And that's where the president of the United States needs to really shake these organizations up, shake the leaders up, and get them involved and make sure that he is getting exactly what they believe could happen. Because I'm sitting here today, not as some guy sitting on the wall, that just walked into the party. I'm sitting here as a guy who's very experienced in these things. So I'm concerned about that. The second thing, and as important, actually probably certainly more important really, is the life of the president. I really worry about him sometimes, when he's out there. He's such a people person, and he wants to be around people. That I want to make sure that the Secret Service is doing everything that it can to protect that man's life, because we need him for the full amount of time that he's got remaining as president of the United States, because he's a fighter. He's a champion for this country, and he's doing everything he can. You're not always going to get the perfect team. Sometimes you're not always going to get the Super Bowl team, and right now in some parts of his offensive and defensive structures, he's got some weaknesses. And I would just say that he needs to really re-examine those weaknesses. I know you've got
a very tight schedule. This is a 2-minute break. I got to ask you about Mike Pence. Can you do 5 more minutes?
Yeah, I'll do 5 more.
Perfect. All right, General Flynn is our guest, and we'll put on screen his websites and everywhere. You follow him on X @Gen Flynn. True American Patriot. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, 5 minutes left with General Flynn giving us a real intelligence report. It's what he professionally did at the highest levels of the U.S. government on what's happening. And I wanted to get into Pence a little bit. During the break, he was like, listen, all hell's about to break loose. I totally agree. Even though it's anemic compared to the last response, at least it's there moving against the deep state. They're scared. They're going to make a move. And General Flynn, you're predicting in the next 30, 90 days, all hell breaking loose. I totally agree with you. What is that hell you see? What do we need to respond? And then you're saying you're ready to run for president if Pence gears up in the next, now a year and a half, he'll be announcing. So General Flynn, please continue.
Yeah, so briefly, I think that what we are seeing across the country, and because all the capabilities and all the resources are here, they were brought here by during the Biden administration, and in some cases they have infiltrated into different parts of our country, in counties and in states, and certainly into the federal government. So the capabilities to do severe damage to different parts of our sectors within our country, the electronic sector, the telecommunications sector, and also just to cause chaos. Because you say, well, if there's going to be some type of an attack that's going to make 9/11 look like a church fire, then why? The whole purpose is to sow chaos, to continue to disrupt the ability for President Donald J. Trump, to continue to do the things that he wanted to do and he set out to do as president of the United States that we, the people, gave him the authority to do. And so one of the things that they're going to have to do within the subordinate organizations of our federal government, of the executive branch, particularly the FBI, the CIA, and some of our other federal law enforcement agencies, they're going to have to start really working vastly better together. I mean, we know we still have millions and millions of illegals in this country that are very dangerous criminal elements. And we haven't, there's not that many that have been sent out yet. So, and we know that
let's just be clear that the former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, former top national security advisor, highly respected for your analysis over the decades. That's why you got promoted so high. You're predicting a new mega 9/11 potentially in the next 90 days. General, you're predicting
Yeah, that's something that's on the scale. It's not a plane. It's never the last. Yeah, it's never the last thing that happened. Okay, it's not like we're going to be needing to watch for planes in the sky. It is a combination of things because they have found a massive number of vulnerabilities in the sort of the body of America, and those vulnerabilities are, in some cases, our inability to respond to chaos and complex operations. And if they're trained in complex operations, which they are, small teams, small elements, dispersed, in a wide pattern all over the United States of America, which we know. You mentioned one of the criminal elements earlier, but you have the TDA, you've got the MS-13, you've got elements of Islam, radical Islam in here, like Hamas and Hezbollah. I mean, this axis of resistance that's already inside of our country. I mean, this is not me making this shit up, Alex. This is what's happening. So,
is it good that Trump is moving on Venezuela to cut off that funding?
Yeah, I think that what Trump is doing in Venezuela right now, but he's got to put more pressure on Maduro to get Maduro the hell out of there. He should be making calls to Xi. He should be making calls to Putin and saying, hey, look, let's get this guy out of there. Let's clean up what we got to clean up, and let us deal with this issue in our own hemisphere. Let the person who was duly elected, Machado, to go take the country over and see how she can do it. And let's back out of that mess, right? The United States, Trump needs to focus on America first. The other point that you wanted me to address, because I know we only got about
60 seconds,
is Mikey Pence, right? Pence is kidding himself. He's a fool if he thinks that the American people will ever vote for him for president of the United States of America. So a bit tongue-in-cheek the other day was, if he decides to run, I'm going to decide to run. I mean, there's no way in the world that I'm going to let a guy like Mike Pence think for a second that he has any ability to lead this country, given his already demonstrated behavior in the last administration. I can tell you to this day, and I'll remind everybody, because I might have said it on your show before, the last time that Mike Flynn spoke to Mike Pence was the night that I resigned way back in 2017. That SOB never called me up and said to me, not even to this day, and said, hey, Mike, I'm so sorry what happened to you and your family, by the elements of the deep state. Please forgive that, the decisions that we made to get you out of that White House, because he was part of it. And he knows he was part of it. And that's why if he runs, I'm running.
Thank you, General Flynn. Incredible. I'm funded by you. You want to know who funds this operation? You, the viewer, you, the listener. We got like a gold sponsor, and that's it. I could have a bunch of sponsors, but then I got to check it. I got to mess with it. and then they come after our sponsors. So about 14 years ago, I said, we're getting rid of sponsors, as a lot of you saw. And I'm like, we'll just sell the best supplements. We'll just sell the widest selection of stuff. And we're already selling DVDs and films and books and, T-shirts and ball caps. But I said, you know what? We're going to do it ourselves. So we just go out and find whatever the top certified best-selling thing is, already proven, triple tested. We sell it, get a private label. But we've also made a lot of great proprietary supplements as well. So you're missing out if you don't go to the AlexJonesStore.com that I don't own. So even if they shut down InfoWars, which is imminent, people are going to wake up and go, well, God, it really happened. Yeah, there's a receiver in there. He just hadn't decided to shut it down yet. Close. They don't own the AlexJonesStore.com. It funds the Alex Jones Network. It funds this operation and has the widest selection of T-shirts, hats, hoodies, sweaters, you name it, a lot of it limited edition. We have the classic 1776 gear. We have the Trump gear. We have the InfoWars gear. We have the Alex Jones gear. We have the comedy gear. We have a lot of fun shirts, Gulf of America shirts. We have InfoWars veteran shirts, veterans of the InfoWar. It's all there. Fundraiser shirts that cost a little bit more, so we actually get some funds in because these are high quality. The markup's not very high. It's all there. The AlexJonesStore.com. We've got our Holy Wars Crusader line, all very, very politically incorrect. All the America First stuff. It's all there. The widest selection. The AlexJonesStore.com. There's 30 days that started a few days ago of Black Friday and Cyber Monday mega sales. 25% off site-wide on all top products, everything, including on top of the sales that are already there. While supplies last, could end at any moment for specific items that sell out. Here's what's on sale now. Ultra Methylene Red about to sell out. All supplements, the Ultra Methylene Blue, the Shilajit, the Irish Sea Moss, the Ultimate Life Force Spike Protein Detox, all shirts, hats, hoodies, plus 50% off any supplement when you sign up for auto ship. You cancel anytime. Never run out. Hold it back for 50% off in the future, even when it sells out for everybody else. Cancel anytime. Alex Jones signature blades are in now. Knives I went out and found and thought were the best and got at low prices. They'll sell out fast. Choose from a collection of incredible blades. All supplies last. VIP membership. Anybody buying anything should be a VIP member. Just at checkout, pay $30. and get $40 instantly spent in the store. Special deals, special offers, special sales. Get 40% credit in the store each month instantly. Number one way to support our broadcast. 80% reorder on our supplements. Nobody else has that. That's how good they work. We support you and Fight for Freedom together. You support us together. We are changing the world. Stock up now, thealexjonesstore.com. Thank you. We can't do without you. You are the tip of the spear, and I salute you all.